This piece is titled Birds of a Feather. We biked, hiked, drank beer, and of course, eaten pizza together. We were birds of a feather. There's a picture of us on the summit of Mount Blanc. No photograph exists at the time we climbed up through a waterfall on the Eiger. When we had to go down the waterfall, I went first. Bill came down. He was right in line of going into the entrance of an underground river. I pulled him aside, avoiding a cold burial. In the early years, I thought he had a kind heart. It broke my heart when he announced that he had joined the Air Force and had only a few days left. I was determined to show him a good time. That summer, I'd taken up rock climbing. I was still a novice, but had climbed with some very talented climbers. Why don't we climb White Horse Ledge together before you leave? I want you to experience what it's like when I climb. Mother Nature is my church. When you climb, all other thoughts will dissipate. On the ledge, it's like receiving communion. Great, but I don't have equipment. It's all right, we'll rent some climbing shoes and a harness at the shop. I'll take you up an easy climb. It's friction climbing. It's all about keeping pressure in your feet and smearing your sole against the granite. Don't expect to find handholds. It is all about the feet. It'll be fun, something you won't forget. White Horse Ledge is 1,400 feet tall, though most of the climbing routes are in the 600 to 800 foot range. The majority of it's about a 30-degree angle, which doesn't sound bad until you're a couple hundred feet up. The routes have minimal protection, meaning there aren't places to anchor yourself. This would be the first time I led a climb. I got Bill all set up and showed him how to hold the rope in case I were to yell, falling. With a copy of the local guidebook in my back pocket, I started up a route for beginners. When we reached a belay station, an area that climbers can tie in securely, all was going according to plan. A bolt had been placed in the granite, allowing me to clip a carabiner in. This would protect me should I fall. It was about 100 feet above Bill. Misreading the guide, I veered off the easy route and entered a much more difficult one. When I was 30 feet beyond the last piece of protection, I was near the end of the technical part. The climb was less steep after that. Man, I thought to myself, this sure is difficult for a beginner route. All I needed to do was reach the last handhold. The end was in sight. When I reached out, I broke a friction climber's commandment. Thou shalt not alter the angle of thy feet. I knew the instant it happened. Uh-oh, I thought, this is gonna hurt. It did. As my shoes started to slip, I yelled, falling! Not able to admit defeat, I tried to find something for my fingers to grab. The crystalline surface was unforgiving. My knees, shins, and forearms made contact, grinding the skin off. Every fingertip had the flesh removed. I stumbled over a lip and was launched into the air before being pulled back and smashed into the wall. My t-shirt belonged at the Vatican. It was covered in stigmata. Another climber in a different route yelled over, "Epic fall, man!" There I was, hanging 600 feet above the ground. I only looked down once. An 11.5 millimeter rope, my lifeline. Bill had responded correctly and had stopped my fall. I was 20 feet from any hard surface. Looking up was surreal. I was hanging horizontally. The bright blue sky seemed closer than ever. I asked Bill, could you give me some slack so I can reach the slab? On contact, it took a few minutes for me to regain composure. I let him know I was climbing again, as going down seemed riskier, much more complicated. Honestly, I don't know how I finished the climb. Every move was painful. I could feel the crystalline surface dig into the exposed meat of my fingers. At the spot where I fell, I saw tiny pieces of flesh. I pushed through. I discovered the reason for the fall. I had neglected to tell Bill that when I was nearly out of rope, to let me know. When I reached for that last handhold, it was like pulling on an elastic band. I was yanked backwards. At the top, I got prepared to bring Bill up. Tied securely, I was able to keep tension on the rope so he'd have an easier time. Back at the apartment, Bill had to take off to go home. My roommate, also named Bill, was home. Another bird in my little flock. Roommate Bill and I were becoming friends, or so I thought. Running and climbing together, and of course, pizza and beer. As I was telling him of the adventure, the doorbell rang. "Stay there," he said. "I'll get it." He returned with a man carrying a briefcase. I had forgotten that I had an appointment with a life insurance salesman. My appearance was a wreck. Torn, bloody shirt, scraped and bloody knees, shins and forearms. I was holding ice-filled towels in both hands. Bill sat to the side with a smirk on his face when the agent asked the questions. "Do you smoke?" "No." Bill mumbled, chuckling to himself. "Ask him if he's a rock climber." The agent went on. "Do you hang glide?" "No. I had given it up the week before after a near fatal crash." Again. "Ask him if he rock climbs," Bill said with a little more conviction. "Do you drink or use drugs?" "I drink just a beer or two occasionally, and I'm a pharmacist, so I only push drugs," I jokingly replied. "Ask him if he rock climbs," Bill said even more loudly. He put a pillow over his face to muffle his laughter. "Do you surf or race motorcycles?" "No." That was it. Bill tossed the pillow down and left the room in tears. But before he left, he said, "Ask him if he rock climbs." The agent clearly wanted a sale and ignored Bill. He set down some paperwork and said to call him when I was ready to buy the policy. He held out his hand. Without thinking, I removed the towel to shake hands. I got blood all over his. I handed him the towel. I rock climb. So I gathered. In his bedroom, Bill was laughing hysterically. I didn't buy the policy. With both birds, Bill and Bill, we had trusted our lives with each other. That's a strong bond, something to chirp about. I thought we'd grow old together. Then I came out as gay. Within the hour of telling them, both birds flew the coop, never to be heard from again. Thank you.